Hi there. I want to go ahead and welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. We have almost over 100 libraries joining us today, and a good majority of you are newer users to our website. Others may be quite familiar with our website, but I'm pretty confident that you'll still come away with some new and helpful information, so maybe you'll learn something new today. My name is Lisa Smith, and joining me in my presentation today is Mike Riedemann. And we are part of the sales team here at Midwest Tape. We also have account executive Courtney Wolf manning the Q&A, so she's here to answer your questions. Go ahead and submit questions through the Q&A that you may have throughout the presentation, and she'll get to them for you. And if not, then we'll go ahead and we'll address them. We'll get back to you at a later time as well. This is a very good introduction to familiarize yourself with the layout of our website and to help you to navigate around and to get you going with cart building and placing orders. As you may have already noticed, our website's extremely intuitive and is one of the best in the industry. I'll be recording the session, so feel free to save the recording and pass it on to staff at your other staff at your library that you might find this helpful. So I'm going to review a lot of the basics and point out certain features that I feel are important when using our website. I do a lot of demos for a lot of library systems, a lot of new users I do demos for. I'll demonstrate different ways of finding popular titles and adding them to a new or an existing cart, and then also review some search and browsing functions and features. Then we'll go ahead and change things up a little bit, and then have Mike review some of the basics of the most popular features of our Smart Cart, so he'll go through that with you as well. Now, I also asked for some input during registration on some areas of interest that you would like us to address today, so we'll cover as much of that as possible, and I'll do that through different examples that I'm going to use. I kind of worked it into my presentation a little bit. To get started, actually, if I could have you answer a quick poll for me, just to let us know. Hopefully you can see this. Let me go ahead and, all right. How familiar are you with the Midwest Tape website? If you could go ahead and take a moment and answer the poll question, just, let's see, open poll there. Hopefully you can all see that. Take a moment. Oh, there we go. Okay, go ahead and hit the button. Now it's open. Are you unfamiliar, familiar, or very familiar with our website? So. Okay, so, well, it looks like the majority of you are familiar, but we do have some that are quite unfamiliar, and someone that's very familiar, so that's good. But I think you'll all come away with some good information today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show the poll results. Thank you for taking our poll. All right. We've got a lot to go over today. There's a lot of information, so I'm just going to go straight to the website. This is our home page, and I want to point out first a good way to navigate the website. I like to use these navigation tabs here at the top. I always go back to the home. If you hover over these, it's going to tell you what they are, but this is what I use to get around the website. You're going to use the home button quite often, as well as the view cart, but notice you've also got your smart browse, search, browse, tools and settings. Those are for that's probably for advanced webinars. There's some great options and tools under there that we probably won't go over today, but if you have any questions, please let us know. All right, so I'm going to start with our new release carousel here. That's usually where a lot of people go to obtain titles and add them to carts quickly. So you'll notice the new release carousel, and it's broken down by format. Pretty self-explanatory, very attractive, colorful. It's got a lot of titles here, but we've got our DVDs, CDs, audiobooks, and so forth. And then notice it's broken down by areas of interest. So if I want to look at DVDs, but I have specifics, a specific genre that I'm looking for, perhaps I want to see some television series, and I can just kind of browse through some of these titles here. I can hover over these titles as well to get more information. Okay, and it should give you enough information to go ahead and make a decision to add to a cart. Now, let's go ahead and click on one of these titles. What I did here was I just clicked on it, and it took me to the title level. And just as a reminder, if you cannot see the full screen, you can, down at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is a box with some arrows coming out of there. Go ahead and hit that to expand and maximize the window. Sometimes that's better for display. All right. Now, I clicked on the audiobook Accused, and it's going to give me some information here. For this instance, it's the title level, it's at the search level, but it gives you title level information. I know it's a best-selling author. I know it's a simultaneous release. It's part of a series. This audiobook is part of another series, so that's going to indicate that there at the top. But other areas of information are, it's going to tell you that there's replacements available. And then notice that there's also additional hyperlinks here for categories. Mystery, suspense, thriller, anything that's blue on the website is most likely a hyperlink to another area. So I can click on these category headings here and find additional audiobooks that are suspense thrillers, okay? Now, down here for the replacements, I can click on 9 replacements and order replacements for this particular title. Now, to quickly add this to a cart, I would just put in my quantity. Let's say I want 5 copies of that. There we go. I got to turn my number lock on there. All right. And then you can simply, I'm going to scroll down here so you can all see it. I can add my selection to a cart. I do have an existing cart built, but it's also going to give me a drop down of other carts that I have going. All right. I can select a new cart if I'd like. For today's sake, I'm going to put it into, let's see, December 2012 AV. Okay, so I'm going to add that selection. And I just added the title to a cart. Obviously, it's not going to take that long. I can simply just go in and I can select the title, go down, add to a cart. Okay? That's the new release carousel. Pretty easy stuff there. One thing I would like to point out is notice at the top of our screen, it's going to give you, hopefully you can see that, it's going to give you the status of the cart that you're currently working in and a running total. So right now I'm currently working in a cart named December 2012 AV, and it tells me how many items are in there. So when you have many carts going at once, it's going to list that most recent and the active one at the top of your home page at all times and throughout the website as you go around. Now, I clicked on, let's do that again, I clicked on Switch Cart. And a lot of people don't know that this feature exists. You can hit Switch Cart, and it's going to pull up all the other carts that you have created under your login. And notice I've named some here that I thought were different, like I've got classical music CDs, I've got children's scholastic audiobooks, quite a bit of carts here, but Mike will show you a little bit more about that and so forth. So go ahead, and I just want to point that out, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to take you to the, I think, the second most popular part of our website. I think people log on, and they go straight to the upper right-hand side of your screen to the search window here. I think a lot of you take your catalogs and you find your titles and our buyer's guides, and you type them in one by one. That's another way of adding, getting product and adding to a cart. So for today, I'm going to actually type in Avengers. And a lot of Avengers comes up. That's quite a bit of stuff there. It's going to try and autocomplete. It's quite broad. There's 48 DVD products. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select 48 DVD products under my search. And I get a bunch of old Avengers 62, that old series of the Avengers. But, you know, I'm actually looking for the movie, the most recent movie, and I believe it's named Marvel's The Avengers. But if you look over to the left-hand side of your screen for me, notice that you have search controls to break this down a little further. You can break it down by format. I do already have DVD selected. You can, you can put title start with or title contain. You can look at people. I'm going to change release date. So I'm going to put new releases only. Notice down here you can also change ratings. You can also include or exclude unavailable products, and you can show or hide cover art. So what I did, I just changed the option to new releases only. I'm going to hit search again. And there's my results right there. That's what I want to see, Marvel's The Avengers. All right, this display that is on your screen right now, this is the search display mode here, and there's more titles popped up. It's not a full title display, but you can kind of browse down and take a look at what's come up, and this is how we like to display our collections. I can click on Marvel's The Avengers and get a bunch of, here's that title information, and get a bunch of information here. Notice, now I've got more symbols up here that the other title did not have. I've got this world cat symbol, this swirl here, I've got a shopping cart, I've got scanned images, this little magnifying glass thing. All right, what do those mean? Well, here's my symbol legend. Hopefully you can see that. If you scroll to your right towards the upper right-hand part of the screen, hit symbol legend, and it's going to give you an explanation of icons. The ones that I really want you to remember from today are the two that look like exclamation points and the two shopping carts. Those are the ones you'll see most often. Those are duplication symbols, and that means the exclamation points mean that the title's already been purchased by your library at some point, and you can actually hover and find out by who, find out when, the status, and also the shopping cart symbols show that the title's in a shopping cart but has not yet been sent through. Okay? So just keep your eye and remember those for today, and they'll be displayed throughout the website, as you'll see. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and add this to a cart real quick. I can just put in my quantity. Let's put it, I want 3 Marvels, The Avengers, so we can do that. Let's add selection to my December 2012 cart. So I went ahead and I did that. So even though I'm still on this search tab on the website, I'm still adding products to this active cart up here at the top. Now, let me click on this one here. Actually, I wanted to show a series real quick. Let me show one. I did have a question about a series and how to find, if you have, let's say, CSI Complete 12th Season, but you want to find other series, other CSI series, or other movies in that series. Here's my CSI Complete 12th Season. I did get a question for this at registration. Notice when I look up CSI Complete 12th Season that it's part of the CSI Crime Scene Investigation series. Well, that's straight from that title level. I can click on that, and it's going to bring up the rest of the seasons for me to go ahead and add to carts. Okay? We do have replacements available. I want to point out that at this level, see this little yellow arrow? You can click on that further and add further information. If you're a processing customer, you can add your, well, actually, if you're a processing customer, you can put in your processing information that you have set up with your coordinator. You can enter that in here if that's been set up. If you add funds or branches, if you use funds or branches when you go through and do your selections, you can do it at this time as well. There's a lot of stuff you can do. We'll save that for more the advanced webinar, but I just want to point that out that we can do that there as well. All right. I'm going to go back to the home page. Notice I'm going to use my navigation tab, go to the home page, and I want to take you to quick links all the way over to the right-hand side. This is one of my favorite areas to show off is our quick links. I think you can find a lot of product in this area. It's just quicker. So here's my hot new releases. These will correlate pretty much to the same hot new releases that you're going to find on this carousel, as well as the hot new releases you're going to find in the calendar, as well as your standing orders that you receive if you participate in those as well. It's just different ways that we give this material to you. All right, we give it to you in many different ways. It depends on how you want to use it and what works into your workflow. Now, hot new releases, let's click on audiobooks. I'm going to select my format, and it's going to give me, again, audiobooks in that display, this browse display. So I can just go down the line and say I want one of each because I love Midwest Tapes audiobooks in their cases, and they have everything. So I put a bunch of ones in here, and I can add my selections to, now notice I've got my December 2012 AV cart pulled up. Let's say I want a different cart or a new cart. Let me start a new cart. So I select new cart, add selections, and I want to put awesome audiobooks. And I just simply type in the name of the cart from here. If you have a purchase order, you can do that. You can put it in there, and you hit create. Now, awesome audiobooks is now my active cart up here at the top, and I can continue on. I'll go to page 2, and I can go down the list and continue adding awesome titles to my audiobook cart that I just created. And hopefully I didn't do that too fast, but again, that's another way to get good titles and good information. I'm going to go back to the home page. So that's another way to get hot new releases, monthly calendar. We have a calendar. I love this feature. Let's look at DVDs. I can access the calendar from my quick links or from the tab up at the top that says calendar, either way, or actually either through our browse calendar over here, but I'll show you that later. So I'm going to hit monthly calendar for DVD. This is another way. This displays all my hot new DVD releases for the month of December. This is kind of neat. It gives you a good overall view of what your library is getting. I can, if you're the admin, you can actually log in and go to the calendar to see what your selectors are viewing. Are your selectors buying, and putting into carts all your hot new DVD releases? Because you know those are going to be popular. You know you're going to want to get those. So this will indicate whether or not they're being purchased or if they're in a cart. You can go back a few months and notice, definitely use those duplicate symbols. Now, according to this calendar page here for November, all these titles are in carts, but nothing's been ordered. So we should probably talk to somebody and say, hey, got to get some orders in. But you can also go forward. You can go forward, let's see, I can go forward to the month of January and look at my hot new DVD releases. I can possibly print that calendar out, hang it up at my desk, and maybe impress some patrons with my knowledge of movie industry news and say, oh yeah, we've got Searching for the Sugar Man that's coming out in January 22nd, so, you can go ahead and do that. You can also view the art view, which is neat. I think this looks wonderful. You can print that out as well with our print button up here. You can change formats. I want to look at CDs. I can look at my hit makers that are coming out in January. I'm going to go back to December. Quite a few releases in December in terms of music. This is all music. I can hover over a title. It's going to give you title information. I can click on it. If I want to look at Trey, the new Green Day that's coming out, I can actually see all this information as well as the tracks and the All Music guide here. Okay. So that's our calendar. Now, if you're a children's selector or young adult selector, we put everything right here for you. Children's titles under our quick links. You can do by format. Let's look at some audiobooks. And it's going to list it out in this display, which is called our Smart Browse display. This is a great way to get your top audiobooks titles, or perhaps DVD titles or music as well. This lists out our top 100 audiobook children's titles in the Midwest Tape website, and it's sorted by sales rank. So the Mark of Athena is the 398th most popular title in our system right now, and you can just go down the line. You can select those titles, and notice it gives you that information below. 39 clues. And quite a selection here. And you can simply, all the way over to the right, you can add this title to a cart. Let me go ahead and show you that. I hit Add to Cart, and this window pops up. And I can put in my quantity here, and then I can select my cart. I've got one named Children's Scholastic Audiobooks. I don't think this was not Scholastic right here, but I can add that to a cart and then hit OK. And notice the little 5, the quantity has been added to the side, all the way here next to that title. I can continue to browse through my titles, make a decision on which ones I want, quickly go down, hit Add to Cart, add, OK, add to cart, OK, we'll do another one, and so forth. Okay. Back to the home page under Quick Links. Cat to Cart, I'm just going to point this out. Our buyer's guide lists out quite a few DVDs, CDs, audiobooks throughout. You can select the formats, and we've got the ones for December. Any DVDs that you find in our catalog, you can find on our website in these areas here. And foreign titles. If you are a foreign selector at your library and you want to find some foreign material, this is a place where you can do so. If I want to look at foreign DVDs, I can hit DVD, and it's going to pull up the language. There's quite a few in our system. Let's say I want some French titles, French DVDs. Well, there's over 1,400 of them in our system, and you can go to the most recently added 100 or the top 100. If you want to see all 1,442 French titles, by all means, we can go to our Smart Browse. I can type in French, hit search, and I come up with the search summary. First of all, at first glance, it's a little, you're like, okay, what is this? But what I'm concerned with are, we've got products contain the word French. There's 1,526 DVDs that contain the word French. We've got categories. I think it was the 1,400 some DVDs. This may include unavailable, but this is where you can actually look at titles that contain the word French. Now, if you actually want to find French movies, that would be more around 1,122 DVDs. By all means, you can click on that and view them all. Okay? Audiobooks, nonfiction, language learning, French. It's just, that was a broad search. French is a broad language search, so it's going to bring up your DVDs, your CDs, your audiobooks that are either French Canadian in the French language, French nonfiction, perhaps they're learning, and so forth. We're also going to have different publishers and maybe some people as well with the last name of French. So there's quite a bit of information. I'm going to give you another example. Smart Browse is great to use when you have a broad idea of what you want to look for. And some of my favorite is if you're a young adult selector and you want to look at some young adult material. I'm going to put young adult in the search, and it's going to give me some results here. And again, I'm looking at major categories. It says audiobooks, children's, young adult. Well, again, there's over 1,700 audiobook titles in this search here. I kind of want to break it down. I want to go a little further. So I'm going to select, hit the little plus sign next to subcategories, and it's going to bring up a bunch of audiobook children's classified young adults, all right, that we classify young adult. And I've got action adventure, African American, heritage, mystery, paranormal fiction. Notice when it's over 99 audiobooks, when we start getting into the hundreds, it's going to give you our top 100 best-selling to look at, or the most recent 100. So if I want to look at paranormal fiction, I want to look at maybe the top 100 best-selling young adult audiobook paranormal fiction. That's a mouthful. That's what I want to view. So in our system, every day is the most popular paranormal fiction audiobook right now, and that's based on past 6 months of sales. That's how we do our sales rank, okay? Now, if we were to put in paranormal, I'm going to go back, actually. That's one search to do. Let's look at, oh, and just to point out, I'd be remiss if I didn't point this out to you. We've also got different YALSA selected audiobooks for young adults there. So that's a great reference tool for some different collections. Okay. But go ahead and play with that Smart Browse. There's so much you can do with that. You can put in people. You can put in actual individual titles. So if I do want to put in, I had a good example. I was thinking, let's see, let's look at Shrek real quick. Go back to I put in Shrek, and it's going to list out any product titles that contain Shrek. So it's going to list out my DVDs, probably any music scores, if there's an audiobook, as well as Blu-ray. So you can put in specific titles as well. One more I'll do is classical. For classical music, I like to use this example. Say your new job at the library is to pick classical music titles, and say you really only know popular pop titles. You're not really, too familiar with classical music at that time, and that's part of your duties now. So you can go to our search and hit classical, and we're going to have a major category, and then let's select our subcategory. There's so many different kinds of classical music, and our Smart Browse really lists them out for you. If I want to look at chamber music, there's quite a bit. Concertos, we've got classical crossover, children's classical. I can look at my most recent 100 children's classical music. I clicked on that. It's going to take a second to pop up. The filter filters out the unavailable products. Okay, notice it's only giving me 75 results. Okay, but it gives us this Smart Browse display mode that I can easily add these titles to a cart or create a new cart. Okay, so I just wanted to show you a good few examples of ways to access information to put titles into a cart quickly. Those are a few ways. I'm going to go ahead and actually pass this down to Mike Riedemann, who's going to talk about how to view these titles and how to use the Smart Cart. So here we have Mike Riedemann.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. Before I get going, though, I'm going to start on my part of the presentation with a poll on the different cart views that we have. And I just wanted to see what you're familiar with in this regards, and that is Smart Cart as opposed to normal cart view. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for participating in that poll. I see that most of you, really don't have a whole lot of experience with the Smart Cart. And so what Smart Cart is our cart management system that allows you to change, update, view, and sort items from one neatly organized, one organized screen before purchasing. And the tools we've built into this infrastructure, they're really designed to help you in the streamlining of workflows. You're going to save time in your final review process, and it really assists in the seamless transfer of multiple carts and basically provides you with the tools for downloading records or very detailed Excel reports of the cart's contents. Now, as Lisa mentioned, this Switch Cart tab enables you to access all the different carts in your login. So since you can create as many different carts as you need, it's really not unusual for us to see selectors working in a dozen or more carts. So when you click on this tab, you're going to see all the carts, but you can sort, by any number of different ways. That's real helpful. For instance, Lisa was showing you how to build a cart. When you add products to a new cart, that cart, it's not going to automatically appear in your cart view. You're going to need to do this under this panel. So if you've got a bunch of carts going, you'd want to click on the newest sort order, and that cart you just created a little bit ago will show up here at the top of the list. So we'll go to the View Cart tab now on the top navigation tab here. And I'm going to scroll down off to the right here just to balance this page out because we've got a top half and a bottom half of the cart view here. So all the titles are listed up on the top. And so there's a number of different ways we can customize this view. And the first is by expanding and contracting the widths of the columns here. So I just left click on the column break, and I can expand that to get more of that title to show up. I can left click and drag these columns in any order that I want. So if I wanted to move the box office column over to the right, I would just left click on the middle of it and drop it down wherever I see fit. You can also sort by any of these column headers. So if I want to put all the titles in my cart in alphabetical order, I could just click there. The first time I click it, it's going to put it into alphabetical order. So it's going to start off with the numerals, and then, C, D, on. And then if I click it again, it'll go in descending order. And I can sort by any number of these columns. So if I want to group all the DVDs together or the audiobooks together, I have that option then. And then I can just scroll down to view the rest of the media I'm working in. Same thing for street date. You can put it in chronological order from oldest to newest just by clicking there. Genres, even price, even the sales rank. And by the way, that sales rank is what's internal here at Midwest Tape as far as, what are the best-selling products. You're also going to have these duplication checks on the left-hand side here. So if you've previously ordered it, you're going to see this exclamation point right next to any of these titles. We work in a lot of carts, different carts on the Midwest Tape internal login here, so you can see all of these titles we have listed here. We've already gotten to our other carts. And just by hovering your mouse over it, it's going to tell you what the name of the cart is, who it belongs to. You can access all those different carts up in the Tools tab under Open Carts. I'm not going to go into that today, but that is there underneath the Tools tab. So let's take a look at the bottom half of the screen here. And this is where you have the ability to edit the quantity. You can edit the info in the instructions field, look at complete product details. You can read the reviews of the products in your cart, a lot of this info that Lisa was just showing you. But this first tab right here, the quantity tab, you can change the quantity in this box. So, you entered the quantity when you entered it into the cart. You can change this here. If you work with ongoing funds that you need product tied into on your orders, you have the ability to select that fund right here underneath this drop-down. That's right next to the quantity tab. And if you have administration privileges for your login, you can go into the Settings tab that's right next to that Tools tab I was telling you about, and you can set that up. You can send a request in, I should say. But otherwise, feel free to give us a call, and we would be happy to put this fund drop-down box in place for you. Likewise with the branch distributions. And these branch distribution drop-downs here, these come in handy for those of you that are selecting for multiple locations. And for certain titles, you're always going to need to order a set quantity for your multiple locations. Like if films that grossed over 100 million at the box office, these certain locations need these certain number of quantities. So that's going to automate that for you, this drop-down right here, and save you time. And then you also have the ability for these individual titles to select the option to receive either our free brief vendor mark records right here or the full OCLC mark records. And we just had a question a minute ago on how to copy, move items, and you can do that from here. I'm going to show you another shortcut up here later on, but you have that option right here to either copy them from one card into another or just move it out of this card altogether. The Instructions tab, we saw this underneath the yellow arrow on the product detail page where you could load it into a cart. You have the ability to edit here as well at this stage. Now the Detail tab, this is basically giving you the complete details that you found in that product detail page Lisa was showing you. You'll notice that the image is going to appear on the top left of this bottom panel. And below that is a link, and you can click on this to view the front, back, and spine images, and you can even zoom in here and really read that fine print that's listed on the back on this bottom page here. Now, you don't have the ability to print this artwork out from here. So if you ever do need replacement artwork, if it's been damaged, go ahead and call into customer service or contact one of your reps here, your sales reps, or if you're a processing customer, your processing sales rep, and we'll make sure that we get that taken care of for you. The duplication checks are also going to appear down here. For instance, you know, if it's in another cart, if it was previously ordered, you would see an exclamation point here. You've also got the magnifying glass. This is a link to your library's OPEC. So if you want to link to your catalog and you don't see a magnifying glass on the product, on the web pages, just give us a call and we can set that up for you free of charge. All of the pricing is clearly spelled out right below the synopsis here. And so this magnifying glass that's underneath the paper icon, that affords you the ability to view the free brief mark record. Once I click on that, that will come up. Further down by the UPC and the OCLC is another few other match points that you can search your OPAC. If this was a feature film, you'd see a film trailer located right here. I think I should be able to find one. I'm going to switch my cart here into a different cart view. So for Marvel's The Avengers, you guys see that trailer. And on the right, you're also going to see some other icons. You know, for instance, you know, like this title by Boys Like Crazy. They're a gold artist, so you would see that designation. Also notice for CDs, you've got a complete listing of all the tracks that's included on the disc. If it was an audiobook, you might see the best-selling author designation off to the right here. But what's a cool feature is that while you're working in this detail tab here, you can either just simply click on the titles above, or you can use your down arrow, and each time you click, you're going to bring up new details for it. So the last tab is the Reviews tab. So for DVDs, or feature films, I should say, you've got the link here for Rotten Tomatoes. You can instantly see the tomato meter, letting you know how many people thought it was a fresh, good movie. You can click on See All Reviews to go to the next page to check it out in more detail. For CDs, you've got the All Music Guide right here. I'll click on an audiobook title here. You've got the audio file review. So clicking on Read More will just bring up a pop-up panel, and you won't have to leave the cart page there. Now let's go head back up to the upper half of this cart view page here. And I was saying that you have the ability to copy, move, or delete specific items using these shortcut icons, I should say. If you select this top checkbox here, you're going to designate all the items at one time. So this can be real handy when you've got dozens upon dozens of titles in here. You can just simply check off the ones you don't want to move. Or if you check off this top checkbox again, that gets rid of it, and you could simply check the ones that you do want to copy or move. So we'll click on Copy, which is, of course, you just have the option to move the product or copy the product into either an existing cart that you have set up or into a new cart altogether. And you can name it at this point, add the PO number. All of your accounts will be listed here, and then you can move the quantities when copying if you wish by checking that off. And it's the same, basic function for moving items, out of one cart into another. You just click on the Move tab, and you've either got an existing cart or a new cart to finish that action with. And so we can delete individual items as well by the same thing. We could check all of them off and then just select the ones that we want to keep, or just select certain items that we want to delete. When we click on this delete icon, it's going to ask you either, do you want to delete either the individual titles you've selected, or if you want to delete the total number of products that you've selected, and then you just need to confirm or cancel that action there. So that pertains to the individual items in your cart. The functions that pertain to the whole cart now, those are located underneath the Carts tab here. So you've got the ability to create a new cart right here by clicking on this option. You could edit any of the cart info, change the cart name, the account you're working in. You could change the purchase order if you want to change it from what you had originally designated for when you created the cart. This is a shortcut for opening another cart, basically the panel that we saw under Switch Cart. And then you've got the ability to merge carts. You've got the delete cart altogether right here. So you've got the delete icon here that would get rid of the whole cart. The merge carts feature is very handy, so that if it's been a while since you've looked through some carts and you want to quickly review them, instead of having to switch from cart to cart, you could just click off the carts that you want to merge together on this column right here. You just select the final cart that you're working in, or the final cart you want it to merge into. You're always going to know which cart you're currently viewing by this blue arrow right here. You would click merge right here, and that would consolidate it. Then you've got the send cart feature, which would simply move the cart out of your login into someone else's. So everyone who has a login at your library under MidwestTapes.com is going to be listed here. You would just need to click off who you want to send it to. You can rename the cart at the time, and then you can add any additional comments. If we want to copy the whole cart altogether, you can create a copy for yourself, or you can create a copy for any of the others. Just simply check off as many people here that you want to copy it to. You can rename it, include your quantities that you've already set for it. Simply hit copy and you're good to go. And then the share cart feature. And this is just simply the option to be able to collaborate on a cart with one or more people. Once you've hit that share cart tab there, you just would click the checkbox. That automatically shares it. The expiration date just sets a cutoff for when the individuals you've shared it with can add or delete items from the cart. Down below is where all the other logins are listed here. You just simply check off who you want to share the cart with. You would save and close. So now the cart's shared. You're not going to be able to check out, which is located right here, because it's shared. And also, if we go back to this Carts tab, you notice that you've now lost the ability to delete, merge, send, or copy. So we just need to click back on Share Cart and unshare it to get that functionality back, whether we want to check the cart out and make the purchase, or merge it, send, copy it again. So the last few functions here, if you did use the branch and fund designations, this would simply take you to a page that would very neatly organize all the details for the number of products that you've designated for each branch, or which funds you've tied into those products. Give you a subtotal, all the product details. If for some reason you want to print this cart out, if you click here, you're going to be taken to a page that's going to be much neatly organized as far as the product details, who the cart was from, or who owns the cart, I should say, who may have sent you the cart, and any relevant detail, subtotals, all that good stuff. This is the Products tab. And so copy, move, and delete is the same as what I had just showed you on this, this top bar here. This is just another shortcut. You've got the the individual, now below I should say, underneath the quantities, I showed you how to set branch distributions. Here you can set branch distributions for the whole cart. You can set the OCLC full mark record checkboxes for the whole cart, or set the full, or I should say set the brief vendor mark records for the whole cart here. So you can select it by using these checkboxes off to the left. You can, select individual items or select the whole cart using this functionality here. You've got mass editing instructions here, for the instructions tab. I'm not going to get too far into that, but it's there. And then you could remove all unavailable products. If for some reason it's an older cart and it was available at one time, but now isn't. So I'm going to go to the Downloads tab. There's very few steps to download the records or an Excel report. So I'm going to start off with the vendor mark records here. And this takes you to what's called our Download Wizard. This page, you can either select off the individual titles on the left-hand side, or at the very bottom, you can check all of them off. At the very bottom of this page, I hope you can see it, you've got the Next tab. You simply click on Next. You're going to designate which file, what kind of file you'd like to receive and how you'd like it delivered here at the bottom. So you can either have these emailed to you right here, and you can have these sent to as many different email addresses as you wish, as long as they're separated by a comma or a semicolon. Or you can choose this through my browser, and that would just, download it through your desktop. You hit the Next tab. Now it's either been emailed to you to that address you designated, or you can click here to download it and it will show up on your desktop. And it's the same thing for the full mark records. We call this mark on the spot when you're downloading from the cart view. And it's the same steps as the Download Wizard, unless it's your first time downloading full records, in which case you'll be presented with an authorization form, just saying that you agree to the $1.20 charge for the full mark record that you order. For an Excel file, it's the same option. You just select which titles you want to download into a report, or check all. You hit the Next tab. Choose the type of file you would like. You can choose a CSV or a basic XLS, Excel file there. How you would like it delivered, again, as many email addresses as you want, or through your browser. And there's just one more step to take at this point. You have a whole lot of options for which columns appear in that Excel report. Anything from the number of disks to, UPC, the specific genres. If you're working on audiobooks, you could, check off abridged or unabridged. You have the ability to include the artist, author, the reader, any number of these. You want to click this bottom one usually to include the column headers. You just click Next, and voila. It will either be emailed to you or you can download that file. And that is basically Smart Cart in a nutshell. You've got this Help tab here. You can always go to the video tutorial to check that out. I'm going to go to the home page real quickly, and I'm going to point out one more thing about our main collections here. Our marketing department, they deliver timely, relevant collections on this home page. Those are these bottom three panels here. They change on a daily and weekly basis, and when they're replaced, they're moved to the browsing area of the website. And you can access that by clicking on Browse here on the top navigation tab. And you just need to select which format you're interested in browsing. So we'll go to DVDs. And then we can click on this Browse by Collection option. And that's on the left-hand side here. And now, in this panel below, you're presented with a list of all the collections that were once featured on our homepage. You're going to see everything from top 10 lists from American Film Institute, Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award winners. You've got a whole bunch of music industry collections, audiobook award winners, anything from like AudioFile or Oprah's Book Club, you name it. There's literally hundreds of collections in all these formats for you to review. Browsing by series is also another really popular option. So whether it's a TV show for DVDs or for audiobooks, say you had purchased a few Alex Cross novels and you wanted to see what else we have, you could just scroll down here, and when you click on Alex Cross, it's going to present you with all of those options. So, you know, the other browse categories we have are like new titles, you've got categories, you've got the calendar view. We've also got a specific one for languages. So we just encourage you to explore the depth of our collection with all the duplication checks that are in place and the links to your OPAC for your convenience. And with that, I'd like to thank you for sticking with us and listening, and I'm going to hand this presentation back off to Lisa. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mike. That was very helpful and very good information about our Smart Cart, as well as some of that Browse tab there. I think they'll appreciate the collection development tips there. Now, a couple other things that I want to point out, and as we conclude our presentation, I know I focused at the beginning on the top half of our homepage. I find that that's where people just tend to go to first. I do want to bring your attention to Mike did point out those collection development or the collection panels in the middle. Usually we'll highlight our exclusive audiobooks on that first panel there, as well as some more Dreamscape titles or some that we have listed there in the second. Easy ways to access those titles that we highlight. And then again down at the bottom, the collections that Mike just pointed out to you in our browse area. Well, again, they're down here on our homepage as well. So you'll see it's industry-related news usually and collections. Okay, so it's definitely going to change with the times. Oh, we've got a little blowout sale going on with those two titles. You might want to check that out. Limited quantities. Anyways, to go back up on the left-hand side, now these two little areas here are fairly new, and I really enjoy seeing these. These change on a regular basis. Django here, that's coming up in theaters. It's just a little blurb about actually view more Quentin Tarantino films. If you want to go ahead and you can click on that, and it'll take you to another area to find more Quentin Tarantino movies, which I find that very fascinating. Love Quentin Tarantino films. Argo, Order Now. It's an Oscar favorite. Just, again, highlighting certain things. Now, I really would like to point out that Midwest Tape has a blog, and we are going to not only post our Hot This Weeks, every week we post Hot This Weeks, and that's hot DVDs, hot audiobooks, hot CD music, and New York Times bestselling authors. You can look on a regular weekly basis, but we also post stories. I mean, movies for the apocalypse. Articles such as that, articles like Detroit Film Critics Society, Best of 2012. We actually have an in-house film critic who writes for our local newspaper that writes for us as well, and he'll do movie reviews. So we'll also put industry-related news on there, such as, what's going on in the current world of perhaps e-books sometimes, just different articles like that. All right, so definitely check out our news and views. You can connect to this. You'll find it on Facebook. You can also connect. You can have an RSS feed available as well as be emailed. You can set it up to have an email every time we post something new in our blog. Interested in any Midwest Tape services? Here at the bottom left, you can click on those for further information about processing, our standing order brochures. If you want to do electronic ordering, anything like that, we've got more information on the site. Or if you would just like to contact us, we've got our customer service numbers down here at the bottom right-hand side. So And there's other things here as well. We've got a Hoopla panel coming soon. Hoopla, new digital media platform, coming soon. We'll have more information soon, so just keep your eyes and ears open, and we'll get to you about that. We'll be very vocal. All right. So, lastly, let's get to stay current. Stay current with our blog as well. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Upcoming webinars, just to give you an FYI, usually this would be filled with a list of webinars, but we are going to take a break in January, and our February webinar is to be determined. So again, just, yeah, we'll have it on the site very soon. Check the home page, and we'll also probably send you an invite. And don't forget to take our survey. I'm going to go ahead and send out a survey to you probably this afternoon, and I'll give you about probably till Friday. If I don't get it to you tomorrow, I'll probably give you a full day to go back and take our survey. It'll be very quick. Just answer some questions. Let us know how we're doing. Maybe if you have any topics of interest that you'll like to see presented in the future, we'd love to include that. And I'm going to do a little drawing of everybody who does the survey, everyone who submits a survey to us. I'm going to pick a name in the library to receive a little gift card. So a little prize there. Okay. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming, and this concludes our webinar for today. Thanks, Mike, and thanks, Courtney. Courtney, do we have anything in the Q&A? Courtney did such a great job and answered everyone's questions throughout the webinar, so everything's been covered. All right, thank you so much for your time, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to give us a call. All right, thank you. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.